Hello, Mr. Dan Kwong. Welcome to Sanctuary. So thrilled to have you.
It's nice to be in here.
How are you doing today?
Today I'm doing well. I'm dealing with some back problems, but I'm comfortable right now.
Glad to hear it.
Feeling very wintry.
Yes, and I like that nice warm red ensemble you've got on.
Yeah.
Kind of
I'm into red.
warms the heart. And here in LA, the temperature has suddenly dipped, so our bodies are like, going from summer and then to fall, and then it got cold, and then it got warm, and then it got rainy, and
It's confusing.
right, it's confusing to our psyche. So I'd love to talk about how you're feeling in this construction, this installation called Sanctuary No Safe Space. But before we go into that, I would love to hear a bit about your work as regards to your history with 18th Street. You are the grand young man of 18th Street. We served on a committee together, and I remember at one point you said you had lived here longer than you'd lived anywhere else. It's your home.
Yes, 33 years. It'll be 34 years in May 2026.
That is really amazing. So
yeah.
I have not heard the story of how you came to be at 18th Street. I do know you're a well-known, dare we say, rather famous performance artist.
Dare not say.
Dare not say. In the performance idiom, which is when I went to school, that was under the rubric of the visual arts. It's not necessarily, although you do use elements of theater, it is not necessarily like being a trained actor going into Broadway or Hollywood, although they may overlap. But you came out, as I understand it, back in your days with waist-length hair, I believe. I've seen those pictures.
Yes.
You come out of a visual artist background, so perhaps you can sort of take us through that and get us to 18th Street, and then tell us a little bit about your experience here. I've been in your space. It's really amazing. I was very drawn to your mother's fiber work in there. It's very beautiful. There's a lot of your own history, in that space. I believe you had your dad living there for a time. You've had a lot of, experiences.
You know my story pretty good.
Well, I remember it. I remember these elements, but maybe I'll hear something that I haven't heard. Now, this video is going to live, as I understand it, on the show page for this installation at 18th Street. So who knows who will or will not see it. We have to assume that anybody on earth could see it. So, perhaps things you might want others to know. Can you take us from your beginnings as an artist into 18th Street?
I'll try and keep this brief. So I come from an artist family. My mother was a weaver. My father was a commercial photographer. So I grew up surrounded by artists and hanging out with artists. And so for me to go into the arts is no surprise at all. When I realized I was not going to play center field for the Dodgers, I had to choose alternative paths.
Right.
And as you say, in art school, I was primarily a visual artist. Originally, I wanted to be a cartoonist when I was a teenager. I went to the University of Southern California for a couple of years and got a good basic fine arts background. Painting, sculpture, etc. I transferred to the Art Institute of Chicago in the mid-70s.
My stomping ground.
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was difficult, but I loved it.
I have to ask you how it was going from Los Angeles to Chicago in the winter.
It was a shock. It was a real shock because I'm a hardcore Southern California boy. And suddenly I was in this old Midwestern city and that had funny smells, and you couldn't play frisbee in December because it was freezing cold and snowy. And, But eventually, I was there for 5 years, and eventually I just fell in love with it. It was the beginning of my adult life.
Right.
And a great opening of my mind. And the Art Institute was an amazing experience. And that's where I quickly switched from painting and drawing to video and electronic sound, because that just seemed fun to me to play with equipment. And that's where I was exposed to performance art. Now, in those days, in the 70s, late 70s, performance art was much more, kind of abstract. People weren't telling stories. It was not a linear thing. And so most of it I just kind of shrugged and like, well, I don't know what the hell that was about. But while I was there, I was the undergraduate assistant in the sound department.
Wow.
And a visiting artist came named Alona Granite from New York, who was a grad herself. And I wound up helping produce all of her audio for her performance there at Name Gallery. And Alona worked with stories. She was a storyteller. She worked with autobiographical material. And so I was in the back running the reel-to-reel tape recorder watching her, and I remember thinking like, ooh, I think that's something I would like to do.
You responded.
Because I had never seen somebody who works so literally with personal stories. And also the idea of presenting your work to a live audience was just exhilarating.
Dan, I want to just jump in and say, listening to you, I'm sort of struck at the integration of the visual art from your mom and the photography, which sort of relates to video, and then all of the technical aspects from your dad. I don't know if you feel that, but...
Well, I'll tell you, I'm a terrible cameraman. My father was a genius with the camera, and I did not inherit.
He loved the technical part of it too, huh?
But yeah, I like playing with equipment.
Got it.
And my mother was a storyteller.
Right.
My mother was a great storyteller. So that planted the seeds of performance art for me, but the biggest problem I had all through my education was, what do you have to say? I had skill, I had talent, what do you have to say? And I just would draw blanks. It could be a blank canvas or a blank video tape or a blank audio. It's the same problem. What do you have to say? And I did not know. So I say that planted the seed, and it took 12 years for me to come up with an idea, basically.
Wow.
So I came back from Chicago, and I had all these crazy jobs as a freelancer, and I was a recording engineer for Mattel Toys, making talking toys in all different languages.
Oh my God, that sounds interesting.
And it was for a while.
Yeah.
And then I started traveling to Asia. I started to do counseling work and kind of exploring my inner self, my emotional world, which I never would go near. And all this self-exploration explored who I was, how did I get to be who I was, and then it was like, okay, now I have something to say. I have some. I want to talk about how society shapes you, how society shapes your identity. Race, class, ethnicity, all those things became really, really fascinating to me. Things that happen in here.
You were a bit of a pioneer, because I don't know if all of that was in the lexicon on a day-to-day basis the way it is now.
Well, okay, so I made my first performance in 1988, and I did it at my 34th birthday party. I didn't know what I was doing. It was really just birthed out of pure desire and lots of naivete. But I was like, I don't care, I'm going to make something. And so I had no connection with the art world. I had no connection with the performance art world. And that was the time when Highway was being born. And 18th Street was being born. I read the end of the year edition of the LA Weekly. And there was a long piece by Linda Burnham saying, oh, me and my friend Tim Miller, we're creating this multicultural performance space. It's going to be called Highways.
Wow.
And I thought, my performance might be appropriate for this place. So I wrote her, wrote
Yes.
her a 3-page letter
Yes.
saying, hey, I have this piece. It's about baseball and racism and
The baseball connection goes way back.
Yeah, it was my first piece, Secrets of the Samurai Center Fielder. So we met, me and Linda and Tim met at Barnsdall, where Tim was performing. I didn't know who he was, I'd never seen him perform. I was amazed, I was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing.
Right.
He's brilliant. We met, we hit it off, they said, hey, come help us build this performance space. So I did. I helped build Highways.
Physically, you
Physically
mean?
helped
Wow.
build Highways. I provided the sound system for the first 3 months of Highways' existence. It was my own personal equipment. They said, we're doing this grand opening in May. We're going to have 75 performances in 4 days. Do you want to be in it? You have 8 minutes. And I said, oh, yeah. So I created an 8-minute excerpt from my show. I did it. It was very well received. They said, okay, come back next month and give us 20 minutes of your show. And I did that on a mixed bill. And that was very well received. And they said, okay, come back this fall, do your whole show.
So you worked into it.
So that was
You're able to workshop it.
1980, yeah, 1989. So I did it September of 1989. I premiered my first performance ever, and it was generally well received. And as you say, at that time, 1989, there were almost no Asian American male solo autobiographical performance artists. You could count them on the fingers of one hand.
Right.
So because of that oddity, my work received a lot of attention.
Right.
Good
Uniqueness.
And bad. Good and bad, I mean, some reviewers hated my work. But within a year, I was touring.
Oh my heavens.
And I had no idea what I was doing. I was just completely learning on the job.
Across the U.S.?
Across
or
the
world?
U.S., yeah. And learning how do you do lights. I knew
On the
how to do,
job, wow.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that particular phenomenon of learning on the job has been true for the last 38 years of my career. That I'm constantly in situations where like, I don't know how to do this, but here I am, I'm going to do it. I've never directed a play. Okay, I'm going to direct a play. I've never written a play. Oh, okay, I'm going to. So I've kind of come to realize that, okay, that's just my way, that's just my path, is that I stumble forward.
Or jump in with both feet.
Yeah.
However you want to put it.
And so I don't wait to be prepared.
Right.
I don't wait to be experienced. I don't wait to be trained. I've kind of done these things. And you know what that means is sometimes you make less than splendid work because you're naive.
Well, you're going to do that anyway, whether it's in privacy or in front of, I mean, it has to be workshopped.
Well, and it's just something I accept. It's like, okay, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I've never let lack of experience stop me from doing anything, for better or worse. And so, it's like, no, gosh, that's just been my whole path, is stumbling forward. And it remains true to this day. I'll jump into the deep end of the pool and find a way to stay afloat.
You don't feel scared. You feel more excited.
I'm terrified.
You're terrified and excited.
Terrified.
Right.
And that's sort of become an indicator for me. Like if I'm scared shitless,
I better do it.
then I'm in the right place.
That's incredible.
If I thought, I don't know if I could do this, then I'm in just the right place.
Right.
Because it means you're at the edge, right? You're at the
Right.
edge. So again, those are things that I think you kind of come to learn through time.
Right.
Like, oh, you do this thing happens again and again.
Yeah.
And you go like, oh, that's how it happens. Okay, I'm gonna jump back to the beginning. I started my career at Highways, and it sort of became my home base as an artist. I would premiere all my work there. And within 3 years, they were remodeling this building, the 1629 building.
The building we're in right now that you live in.
Where this
Yeah.
lovely installation
Right.
is. And I was heavily involved with Highways. I was getting more and more involved with 18th Street itself.
Right, because they were one entity. I mean, they were.
Well, there was a point where yes, they merged, and it was one board of directors, and I was on that board of directors, and it was not a good move fiscally and practically.
Right.
Again, hey Dan, will you be on the board of directors? I don't know what it means to be on a board of directors.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So I would say yes to things. I have no
Right.
idea what I'm doing.
I'm sure
what
you
am
learned.
I supposed to be doing here?
Right.
I don't know. But here I am. So,
Right.
back in the beginning, the art center it was like a mom and pop organization.
Yeah.
It was Linda Burnham and Steve Derlin running the whole art center. What was the arts complex in those days.
Right.
And we had no rules, we had no policies, we had no structures. It was like the mafia. It was like, who do you know?
Oh, what a funny description. That's.
It was really wonderful. It was like.
It's also like what you said about just jumping in and just doing something and
Yes,
figuring it out.
We were building the airplane in the air.
God, that's incredible.
And there's wonderful things about that. It meant that anything could happen.
Right.
This
Yes,
building
and, yeah.
was one giant empty space. It was formerly the West Side Oldsmobile repair garage. It was a giant empty space. You could do anything you wanted in this space. People do installations. They'd have rehearsals. I rehearsed in this building.
Right.
Gigantic act-up LA parties would
happenings,
with 1,000 people in this building. And so there was this incredible freedom and flexibility because we were so small and informal. You'd say, oh, I have this idea for a project. Well, do it.
Right. And you didn't have to, make 3 texts in order to plan a time for a phone call like you do now. You're just all
fill out
there.
an application and get permission. So there was that incredible freedom and flexibility and spontaneity here all through the 90s, early 90s especially. And I was touring all over the country.
Yeah. And now you tour all over the world.
International work started in 2000.
Dan, I'm going to do a part 2.
I think so.
We're at 18 minutes. No, I'm fascinated. I want to keep going. I'm just going to do In the Sanctuary with Dan Kwong part 2. I'm going to start it right up. We're going to stop.